Good morning. Thank you very much for joining me. This is your girl Susan, the psychologist, and this is Transform 360 with Susie. Welcome very much to our session today. We have been tackling understanding the mind of a victim in an abusive relationship. I'm hoping and praying that these videos are empowering, are impacting your lives positively. Thank you very much to everyone who has reached out, everyone who has actually given positive response on the content that we are actually currently doing, everyone who has stated that these videos have been of help. We celebrate you very much, even just for allowing yourself to be vulnerable and allowing yourself to walk this journey together with us. And so we're here to hold your hand, we are here to support you, we are here to ensure that at the end of the day you come out stronger and better, and that is the purpose of this channel. And so last time we tackled learned helplessness, and so today we'll be looking at something called battered person syndrome. Battered person syndrome is what we'll be delving into. And remember, we are delving into understanding the mind of a victim in an abusive relationship. And so what is battered person syndrome? Now, this refers to a psychological and physical stress from being the victim of constant and consistent and severe violence, be it verbal, be it emotional abuse, be it physical abuse, and mostly it happens when someone experiences domestic violence from a spouse or a loved one. Now, we have just said it is the psychological and physical stress from being the victim of consistent abuse. And so, what are the symptoms that most people experiencing BPS suffer? One of them is stress. Okay, the other one is fatigue. Number 3 is anxiety. They are always experiencing anxiety. You know, there's so much uncertainty that comes with a lot of anxiety and fear of whatever it is that is going to happen. There's also a depressed mood. Most often than not, victims who have been exposed to constant abuse, constant severe abuse for a very long period of time, they experience depression. They are always in a depressed state or a depressed mood. And we also have pain. Remember, we're talking about these are psychological and physical stresses. And so pain is also another one. Pain doesn't have to be necessarily physical, whereby you can tell someone this part of my body is aching. But we also have mental pain. We also have emotional pain. That sometimes people find it very difficult to even just express themselves. Will people really understand me? Because society has put a tag on physical pain is what people can identify with. But remember, emotional and psychological pain is as severe as physical pain. It is found in both men and women, and it is a mental disorder that is caused by serious and prolonged victimization of domestic abuses. So what are the characteristics of persons suffering from battered person syndrome? These are the characteristics. The victims always feel responsible for the abuse. Remember, time and again, we have actually covered this, and we've actually seen that yes, victims tend to get to a point where now they blame themselves for the abuse. They're thinking, probably I'm the one who triggered him to get angry. Probably I'm the one who's, always on the wrong side. Probably I did this to trigger this particular reaction. Victims are also reluctant to blame the abuser for their violence. So they rarely blame the abuser, and like we said, they will always feel that they're the ones who are in the wrong, and they'd rather take blame for the abuse as opposed to blaming it on the person. And remember, guys, we always say this: when it comes to violence, as a victim, it is never your problem. That is one thing that people need to understand by the time we're done with this session. It is never about you. It is always about the other person. People are dealing with their own insecurities and they end up projecting it on others. People who are battling so much within, they're battling their own demons, and because they're afraid to be in touch with their real self, then they end up projecting it onto other people. And so it is always about the abuser, because you know what, someone can still choose to sort out issues or to react in a totally different way, but they make a choice to react in an abusive way. That is a choice that someone has made, an intentional, a deliberate choice. And so the victim is reluctant to blame the abuser. The victim is frequently in fear for their safety. You know, they don't know what will happen next, and they're like, me, I'm just fearing for my life. I don't know what will happen. They're in this constant fear and anxiety and uncertainty. The victim believes the abuser has such power that even contacting the police for help will not help and will not stop the abuse. Imagine, even like I said earlier, under learned helplessness, the abuser tells you, you know what, even if you want to go and report, you go and report, nothing will happen. I've got connections, I know people, no one will come to your rescue, and so you're better off being with me than being without me. Because you know what, I'll ensure if you're not ending up with me, no one else will have you. And so they make you feel so powerless. You know, they rip you of your power and your control and your ability to just take charge. And so what happens is the victim believes that the abuser has so much power that even contacting police for help will not change anything. The victims begin to feel there is no possible escape from the abuser. And so the victim just feels like they're in this cage of captivity and bondage that they cannot be able to break free and run for their dear lives. They feel like that is the place to be, this is where I'm gonna die, and they resign to that fate. You know what, even if I die in this situation or in this relationship, I have accepted it, because they believe that there is no possible escape from the abuser. And so, what are the stages of battered person syndrome? The very first stage is denial. A person is unable to accept that they've been abused, that they are being used, and so they're in denial. They're in denial, no, this cannot be happening to me. They are in denial. Number two is guilt. So the person believes that they could have caused the abuse. Okay? They believe that probably they're the ones who have caused the abuse. Number three is enlightenment. This phase, the person realizes that they didn't deserve the abuse. They are now beginning to be empowered slowly by slowly, and they're getting to realize, wait, I am not the problem, because even when I do things the correct way, this person still abuses me. And even when I do wrong, he still abuses me, or she still abuses me. So then I am not the problem. Something must be seriously wrong somewhere. And so they acknowledge that their partner in this stage, they get to acknowledge that their partner has an abusive personality. And so now they begin seeing the real person for who they are. The mask that they had, the skills that were covering their eyes are now beginning to fall off. And now they begin to realize that this person is not the person that I thought he is or she is. She is basically and typically an abusive person. And number four, the fourth stage, is responsibility. And the person accepts that only the abuser holds responsibility for the abuse. So remember, after now the empowerment and the enlightenment, now they begin to discover and realize that responsibility solely lies in the hands of the abuser. They are not the reasons for the abuse. They are not the ones who push the abuser to be abusive. It is simply a choice that the abuser makes. And in many cases, this then helps them to explore options for leaving the relationship. And so in this stage, there's actually light at the end of the tunnel. And so someone now is more open-minded towards looking at things logically and realistically and practically. Now they've begun even exploring options of escaping and leaving the relationship. And it's unfortunate because by the time they get to this stage, some of them, even a lot has happened so much that the last incidents makes them say enough is enough. And it's unfortunate because there are those who don't make it out of this stage. There are those who, by the time they're getting to this stage, they're not even getting, by the time they're getting to this stage, now it's either they leave dead or they leave maimed. It's crazy. And so guys, if you're a victim in an abusive relationship, don't wait till this stage. Do not wait. The moment you sniff or sense the slightest form of abuse, kindly run for your dear life. Like I told you guys, run like 𝗕𝘆𝗱𝗍𝗿. You know why? Because when abuse starts, it rarely reduces. It actually gets to move from bad to worse. That is something that I've proven from my previous past experience of dealing with victims. I have actually seen it. And even for you as a victim, just observe around you and see. Someone who has been in an abusive relationship, it started with something very small and then it went escalating. Like I said, it starts with someone abusing you verbally. The next time they point you, the next time they slap you, the next time they give you a punch, the next time they give you blows and kicks, the next time they do so much harm to you, they leave you for the dead. And so it never gets better. Okay? And when you realize this, then it's important just for us to know that it is high time to love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Don't allow yourself to be trapped in these negative patterns, toxic cycles. And so how does BPS develop? This is what happens. So an abuser wins over a new partner. Yeah, we have seen this. And they often move very quickly into a new relationship with tactics. You remember some of the characteristics of narcissists? So they will love bomb you, they will pressure you for your commitment. You know, they've just met you, barely know this person. They're like, you know what, I want to marry you. You know, I love you so much. You're such a beauty. They bombard you with grand romantic gestures. They tell you how much they love you. They tell you how much they want to settle down with you very fast. And then as this happens, now it moves slowly to now the abuser slowly showing you emotional, physical abuse. It starts small. Like I said, it starts, maybe he abuses you verbally. Next time he will come and point you and tell you, you know what, one day I'll come and beat you like crazy. Next time he slaps you. Next time he punches you. Next time he gives you blows and kicks. Next time he does the worst that you've ever thought of. Then abuser now starts feeling guilty. Oh, swearing they'll never do it again. I'm so sorry. I don't even know what got into me. It's like a demon got into me. It's like something just came and took charge. I didn't even notice when I was doing it. I'm very sorry. Please forgive me. You're the best person. I don't want to lose you. And they become overly romantic. They become overtly romantic. They buy you roses. They bring you chocolates. They treat you to whatever it is that you love. And so what happens? Now the victim feels, oh, but this person is truly sorry. Maybe I should just forgive them and give them another chance because they didn't mean to do what they did. And so the victim forgives this person. Okay? And when the victim forgives this person, of course, now you know there's that, it's like a honeymoon period, which is temporary. And so there's more love now, things are at peace. And then the abuser is on their best behavior. They are luring you into thinking that you're safe with them and things will be different. They will change. Such a thing will never occur again. You know all those lies that they keep on telling us. Yeah, you know all those lies that they keep on telling you. Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. You know, I don't even know how I hurt such a great person like you. I'll never do it. You're done for everything that you've ever dreamt of. And then, now, this makes now the victim begin hoping that, yeah, actually things will change. This person is not as bad as I think. Things will actually change, they'll actually get better. And then what happens is the abusive cycle begins all over again. So after the love bombing, the honeymoon period, now of course being treated right, blah 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 blah, it goes like that. Then again abuse starts, abuse kicks in. When abuse kicks in, they apologize, they feel guilty, they love bomb you, they buy you gifts, they say all sorts of things, they will say they will change, and the cycle becomes a pattern. It keeps repeating itself over and over and over and over again. And like we said, abuse gives you this high. It's like a drug, both for the abuser and the victim. So this high for the abuser is feeling they're in charge, is feeling they're in control, is feeling they're powerful. And so when they slap you today, tomorrow they'll actually kick you and punch you just to experience a greater high. Then for the victim, now you see the sweetness that comes after the abuse, now that's what gives the victim the high. They're like, oh, but this guy actually really loves me, he's not as bad as I think, and it makes you know, gives you that high, hoping that things will actually change, or which they really change. And so for both ways, it acts as an addictive drug. And that is where you find victims staying longer in abusive relationships and abusers getting worse in abusive relationships. I hope you have learned something, and kindly make sure you don't leave this page. Share, like, subscribe, share this information with people you feel will be helped. Because you know what, with all the cases that are happening in society right now, homicide cases, suicide cases, domestic violence, we've seen stories of people murdering their spouses, their children. This has been the trend in our nation and even just internationally. I believe something can be done, and we can bring a stop to this by doing what? By being self-aware, and the moment we sniff or sense abuse, let us run. Let us not wait until we are taken captive. Let us not wait until our minds are taken captive and made to believe that you cannot do it without this person, that you cannot survive. I believe when we do this, we'll build a better society, not only for ourselves, but even for the generations that are coming behind us. Let people know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Let people know the worth of valuing themselves. Now, you know what? Before this person came, you were still okay. Somehow, you were still surviving. Your life was moving on. What makes you think you cannot survive without this person in the equation? And that is why the moment you sense abuse, with the first instance, run. And it doesn't have to be physical abuse. By the time it gets to physical abuse, emotional abuse has already begun, verbal abuse has already begun, psychological abuse has already begun. And so identifying and noticing these forms of abuse as early as you can will actually save you so much trauma, so much pain, so much suffering, and you'll be able to make the right choices. With who in mind? With yourself in mind. It is good to be selfish. It is good to love yourself. It is good to have your boundaries and your standards. Even when relating with people, let them know there are things that you cannot take. And no matter how much you love someone, remember not to lose yourself in the process. Because most often than not, people lose themselves in the process of loving other people. Do not lose yourself. Always remember you are the first person. You're the first person who should be loved, then you love the others. You should love yourself first, appreciate yourself first, identify your self-worth, and then now extend that to the other person. So don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself, because the moment you lose yourself, you lose your power, you lose control to take charge of your own life. And you know what? No one is a driver of your own life. It is only you, and only you can make decisions that are favorable for you as a person. I hope this has challenged you to become better. I hope this has empowered you to make the right decisions. I hope this has actually informed you to even support people better. Thank you for joining me, and I wish you guys a lovely day ahead. In our next section, we'll be looking at some of the reasons probably why people are trapped in abusive relationships. Thank you very much and have yourself a blessed day. We celebrate you, we love you, we appreciate you as Transform 360 with Susie family, and we're here to hold your hand as we grow together. Goodbye and God bless you.